think the Oscar shows, I think the other music shows like the Grammys and American Music Awards and all those awards.
I think the Oscar shows, I think the other music shows, like the Grammys and American Music Grants, and that large number of grants of shows pop, and the Oscars needs to come at it like that, and make the show move Eddie Murphy, who has had a well-established history of complaints with the Oscars, is purportedly equipping to uncover the undisclosed arrangements entertainers go into in quest for an institute grant. Evidently, his interests about the decency of the Oscars cases of the establishment, dismissing his commitments and clues at revealing insight into a few disguised parts of the lofty occasion, have energized his continuous clash with media outlets. Yet it shows up there as something else. To find about what he has as of late uncovered, pay your duties, mind your business. And keep Will Smith's significant other's name out your mouth parody is an extreme craftsmanship, and procuring an Oscar for comedic exhibitions appears to be almost unthinkable. The Institute will in general incline towards serious sensational jobs in Oscar trap projects, frequently neglecting the art engaged with comedic acting anyway. This might have changed briefly in 2021 if either Sacha Aristocrat Cohen or Maria Bakalova had gotten merited Oscar designations for their remarkable work, and Borat ensuing film movie in any case. Even such assignments can't compensate for the various times Eddie Murphy conveyed Grant commendable exhibitions and comedies. And wound up reprimanded turn the intensity up back there. It's quite warm yet here. Ooh, it's cold as damnation and freezing and discussing Eddie Murphy. He has just gotten one Oscar selection, and it was for his job in Bill Condon's melodic Beauty Queens. Murphy himself has recognized in interviews that he might not have applied as much exertion in that movie as he does in the greater part of his comedic jobs. One of the best, most clever individuals ever was George Carlin, and he got this W. Grant Pass 1 execution that keeps on being fundamentally analyzed looking back, is his work in The Nutty Teacher, where he utilized cosmetics and prosthetics to depict the whole Cluster family. A comparative procedure was applied in the Approaching to America films, especially in the notorious hair parlor scene. Hello, I ain't saying Group B. I'm trying to say I quit preferring Cash Dirt, wants to change the name to Muhammad Ali, what sort of during a discussion with Coming to America chief Craig Brewer on the Genuine Mix digital recording. We raised Murphy's rehashed censures by the Institute, and Brewer shared his experiences on why this example perseveres. He said it truly annoys me, and I feel that it's considerably more unnatural against Eddie. In light of the fact that the issue that I think individuals have with Eddie is that they believe that it's simple for him, I'm certain there are numerous things in Eddie's day-to-day existence that vibe simple, yet what individuals don't know is what I see, which is him sitting in his seat in cosmetics. He's putting on music. He's getting into a spot. He's practicing these lines, you see him, where he doesn't play around on set. When in the middle between takes he goes to his seat. And you see him get into this daze where he is endlessly working there's create there. And I stress that individuals believe that like anyway, Eddie's appearing and being amusing, like he's constantly finished. And that is simply false. Yes, he's appearing and being comical, yet dislike he's flipping a switch. Fans accept that it's, to be sure, a vile assessment of jokesters, and Eddie Murphy isn't the sole entertaining person to be disregarded. Because of the Institute's hesitance to completely perceive comedic gifts, one individual composed on the web, nobody at any point said Hollywood had ethics. The honor bid is valid. The 1995 film Intensity had one of the most reasonable gunfights at any point recorded, and it didn't actually get a designation for the Oscars. Another additional for Grant shows it's additionally about crusading, and which studio will spend the cash to wow the jury like Weinstein broadly did. And you didn't discuss the issue concerning kid entertainers Craig Brewer featured the year when Kevin Kline won the Best Supporting Entertainer grant for A Fish Called Wanda, for instance. Yet for each such triumph, various extraordinary comedic exhibitions, like those by Kristen Hairpiece or Jim Carrey, are tragically rejected from the Oscar race. Realize that we plan to have that, too, on the grounds that you're seeing individuals that you haven't found in quite a while. I even love this push in on Arsenio Corridor. Craig Brewer communicated the view that when you converse with any emotional entertainer or entertainer, they will generally share a common opinion as per him parody is essentially more testing, since it comes up short on prompt input of chuckling in the room, requiring a peaceful air. Comedic exhibitions request a profound comprehension of timing and the capacity to draw in with a crowd of people that isn't truly present. Brewer accepted that parody frequently includes a more significant level of mindfulness and craftsmanship, relying upon the material in contrast with a few emotional jobs, where characters might depend on additional clear, profound articulations. Making them moderately more straightforward to depict the parody is amusing on the grounds that the shows are genuine, and I believe that Toward the Day's End Coming to America is about family, particularly this one, considering his girl film satisfied that you referenced that the Oscar have confronted analysis for not being comprehensive towards dark entertainers, with a few debates discoloring the honor shows notoriety. One eminent episode happened in 2019 when Kevin Hart ventured down as the Oscars host because of the re-merging of past homophobic tweets. Moreover, the Oscar So White mission has called for expanded variety and acknowledgement of ethnic minorities and minimized networks inside the business. This has prompted a discernment that Hollywood's esteemed stroll of distinction currently looks like all the more a stroll of disgrace. Because of its absence of stars addressing variety, Kevin Hart has ventured down from facilitating the current year's Oscars. He put out a proclamation on Twitter this evening, saying, "I have pursued the decision to step down from facilitating the current year's Oscars in a February evening." During the 1940s, America entertainer Hattie McDaniel accomplished a memorable achievement by winning the Oscar for Best Supporting Entertainer and Gone with the Breeze in 1940. Strikingly, she turned into the principal African American to get this renowned movie grant, while praising her triumph and making a permanent imprint on film history. The delight was tempered by the unmistakable reality that she would be isolated from the other participants at an Oscar service that successfully worked as a wits just occasion, as opposed to being a festival. This occasion was checked more by isolation than celebration. I earnestly trust I will constantly be a worthy representative for my race. And to the moon picture industry, my heart is excessively full to let you know exactly the way that I feel 80 years after the fact. The movie business actually wrestles with a type of routine separation. Regardless of some advancement in expanding variety, the 2020 Oscars function was defaced by racial contentions that have turned into all too normal for the two watchers and industry members. Significant censures, for example. The oversight of Lupita Nyong'o for her exceptional exhibition in the 2019 movie Us epitomized this issue, and the Oscar goes to Lupita Nyong'o, and has called attention to that the explanation for such separation are undisclosed agreements. Obviously, the entertainers marked that agreement and win the Institute grant, which drives us to the way that they presumably become sellouts. The story unfurls with something other than a solitary VIP sharing their useful example of possibly adjusting too intimately. With the powerful figures at the highest point of the diversion, ordered progression, it's a choral of voices drove by Denzel Washington. Instead of quickly exposing the conspicuous figures, Washington started the discussion by evaluating his partner in the business for what he saw as their off-track, healthy self-awareness significance. You realize individuals hold the trouble of making a film. I'm similar to Send Your Child to Iraq. That is troublesome. It's a film that resembles Loosen Up. He communicated that we are currently in a period where many are becoming tired of the woke Hollywood elites who appear to be pompous and prevalent. Washington condemned those in the business who make that big appearance to self-compliment and proposition, everyday routine direction to others, while experiencing an extravagant chaos. By and by, not all the most prestigious stars fall into this classification. Denzel Washington, for example, is a person who focuses on the main thing throughout everyday life. And he isn't satisfied with how a portion of his associates in media outlets act. Denzel, who has won an Oscar, doesn't stop there. He doesn't completely accept that making motion pictures is really hard. He even contrasted it with less complex positions like being a trash collector or managing the difficulties of war. I like being a city worker better yet. They weren't terrible positions. It resembles you realize individuals say all the trouble of making a film I'm similar to send your child to Iraq that is troublesome like Eddie's, and Denzel's readiness to address the business deficiencies different VIPs have likewise taken a stand in opposition to curious events inside the amusement world. One such individual is Feline Williams, who adopted a more straightforward strategy to revealing insight into issues inside the business the comic as of late offered pointed.